I'll call to order the January 8th, 2025 Fishers Plan Unit Development Committee meeting. We do have a quorum to conduct business this evening. And the first agenda item we will call is case number PUD-24-22 Balmoral Village, a request to approve architectural for the Balmoral Village PUD, which is a residential community consisting of 173 lots, single-family detached homes and townhomes. And we have Grace Wiley with the city to present.
Good evening. My name is Grace Wiley, and I am a planner with the Planning Department. The project before you today is the Balmoral Village residential development. The subject site is generally located southeast of Allisonville Road and Hamilton Hills Lane and west of Willowview Road. The property is currently zoned R2. Later today, the Plan Commission will hold the public hearing for the rezone of this property. If the Commission makes a favorable recommendation to Council and Council approves the rezone at the meeting next Monday, the property will then be part of the Balmoral Village PUD. To the west and south, the project is surrounded by R2 residential properties, shown above. To the north is a commercial development, and to the east is the Indianapolis Metropolitan Airport. The site plan shows approximately 69 detached single-family residences, colored in yellow, and approximately 105 townhomes colored in red. All residential properties will be rear load. Before showing the elevations, here are the architecture standards under which staff reviewed these elevations. For single-family homes, staff requests elevations have 3 materials, including masonry and 2 siding materials. Staff also requests that all single-family homes have a single siding color and masonry on all 4 sides. For the townhomes, staff requests that all townhome units have covered stoops, as well as the same masonry package as the single-family homes. Please keep these standards in mind when viewing the following models and elevations. The chart wheel model has 3 proposed elevations shown here. Materials include composition shingles, brick veneer, shake siding, board and batten siding, and horizontal siding. The Halstead model has 3 proposed elevations shown here. Materials include composition shingles, brick veneer, shake siding, board and batten siding, and horizontal siding. The Milford model has 3 elevations shown here. Materials include composition shingles, brick veneer, shake siding, and horizontal siding. The Pennington model has 3 elevations shown here. Materials include composition shingles, brick veneer, shake siding, board and batten siding, and horizontal siding. Shown here are the elevations for the 5-unit townhomes. Materials for all townhomes will include masonry that is the same as the single-family homes. Shown here are the front and rear elevations of the 6-unit townhomes. The front is on top left, bottom is bottom right. Shown here are images of the streetscape of a similar community provided by the developer. You can see that all homes are rear load. The developer will provide more details on the streetscape of the proposed neighborhood. Staff recommends approval of the above elevations with the proposed conditions. Petitioner will now make a brief presentation. Staff is available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear from the petitioner.
Good evening. I'm gonna try to find a place to put all of my things here. Oops. There we go. Good evening. For the record, Taylor Navarre with Lennar Homes. Address is 11555 North Meridian Street in Carmel. Here before you tonight, or today, is the Balmoral Village community that we're really excited about off of Allisonville Road. And as Grace mentioned, this is the site, the concept plan that we've been working through with staff and various partners on this. As mentioned, these are all rear load products, both single family detached shown in yellow and three-story rear-load townhomes over to the east and northeast in the darker, let's call that orange. The site, just an overview, again, a main entry point off of Allisonville Road up to the northwest, and then 2 access points off of Willowview Drive to the east, with the existing Hamilton Hills Lane, as well as kind of a grid pattern, so to speak, throughout the community to serve all of the rear load products with alleyways throughout. Central Park area there towards the south of the project site, and then quite a bit of floodway up through with the creek that will be activated with pedestrian scale amenities, kind of outdoor living type of amenities out there that we're still working on. So these are some of the marketing materials that we've come up with to just give a little bit of the flavor of Balmoral Village here that we're envisioning, kind of an upscale, elevated lifestyle that appeals to various potential buyers here. Here are some of the renderings that we have done for some of the entryways. So we really thought this through to have a high level of design throughout to kind of emulate and replicate a lot of the masonry that's out on site that ties into the heritage of the site that's evolved from the Eaton family homestead over the years and farming on the site to the former golf course to the Balmoral House Event Center. There's a lot of local flavor and history here that we want to try to incorporate as best as possible. So we've worked with our marketing team and design teams to really have a well thought out process and product and vision for the community. Here's a streetscape of some of the heritage collection that we'll go through. Again, all rear load products close to the street to really activate the pedestrian network here. This is the Pennington, the Milford, and I'm just going to scroll through these for now, and then we can kind of go back through with questions on anything in particular. The Halstead and the single-story Chartwell. The Heritage Collection, again, will be rear load. The top right image, that is from Chatham Hills subdivision in Westfield that has the third car option on it, so I just do want to clarify that. But otherwise, these are all perspectives of what we are proposing to offer in the community. This is the three-story townhome collection that we would replicate here. In all of our communities, the brick packaging kind of varies, and here we will match, as staff kind of recommended, we will match the brick package with the Heritage Collection, the single-family detached, to make it a cohesive feel throughout the community. And here are just some other perspectives of the side and rear elevation there on the townhomes. So I do want to just go back and touch on a couple of the commitments. I think that we're in line with staff, and we appreciate staff support and input and help along the way throughout this process. Just wanted to clarify the commitments on the single-family detached, that the masonry wrap would be a brick wainscot wrap, as you see on here on all 4 sides. That's something that we are willing to do and would like to do that with this type of buyer anyways. That would wrap around the entire building. The townhomes obviously feature all brick on the front and side elevations, as well as up to the first floor building line there above the garage. The comment on the siding color, I just wanted to clarify as well. I think some of staff's written recommendation was that it kind of stays in the same color family so that there's not two tones, so to speak, as some of the renderings reflect. You can see on that top right there's maybe a taupe or let's call it olive color, and then like a bluish color. So I think staff's vision or intent is to kind of have it all more uniform in the color scheme and kind of vary from either like if it's a tan siding material, maybe a darker or lighter tan on the trim or something like that, as opposed to going from tan to blue in that case. So I think that we can be supportive of that as well. And we can work with our sales and marketing team on that to make sure that is addressed. The comment on the townhomes, staff recommended a covered front stoop on all of the units. If you're looking left to right, the second and fourth unit, the interior units, kind of feature kind of articulation there above the doorway, kind of trim that differs slightly from the outside and the very interior unit there. That's how these were designed with the architecture style of these by our design team. While we could explore the option of a covered stoop as the exterior units offer, we kind of prefer the articulation, that the trim just it provides some variation. And if they're all with the covered stoops, I think it would be a little bit more monotonous throughout the community with slightly over 100 townhome units. So that's kind of the intent from our design standard or perspective, but we'd be willing to further that discussion with you all. Outside of that, I'll open it up for questions and discussion. Appreciate you all being here and being able to present this to you.
Thanks for your presentation. Questions or comments?
On the Pennington elevation, the amount or the height of the brick wrap, I don't know if if it's like a certain percentage amount. On a couple, not on here, but on what the staff's presentation was, the A right now looks like it's really just kind of your water line of covering concrete, whereas on our elevations for it that were uploaded, it looks like it's higher up. So I'm just trying to understand exactly what the...
Yeah, I had a similar question. Is there a minimum height on the wrap
So on
that's required?
on A, and maybe it's that, I don't know exactly.
I remember seeing that one.
Yeah,
Right.
that A, I don't think is included in the renderings.
Yeah, it might be a perspective item on that.
Grace, from your perspective, did you have a minimum height that was required from staff's view on things, or a minimum amount?
We did not, we took the home elevations from the builder, kind of at their face value, and so what they've put forward together. What we did request, which is what Taylor was talking about, is to continue what happened a lot in development in the past, couple decades, was a kind of a brick veneer on the front and nothing on the side, so it really did feel out of place. So we appreciate them continuing that, but we didn't have a percentage or height. Taylor, if you don't mind, you could switch back a couple slides, maybe that can, so you're looking at the same image.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't change anything, so any home elevations are coming from the builder.
Yeah, there. On that one, the height of it appears a lot higher.
Yeah.
So my preference is the ones that are presented here and were included in our report, just because it feels more significant as more of a feature instead of just a covering of like the concrete block around the side or the concrete on the side of it.
I think as a rule of thumb, if we said to go to the windowsill line, which is typically what they're showing, that's going to get at least 2 feet up above the floor line.
Okay.
I think the reason that looks different, one, it's a rendering, so it's just a rendering, but it also looks, if you look at the front stoop looks like it's got 2, maybe 3 steps before you
Yeah.
get to the porch. So the house is sitting higher out of the ground. So that, obviously, that, just doing that is gonna make the brick taller because the floor line is higher. So I think that might be part of the reason that it's, because I think if you go back to the
Yeah.
the
image
one
that you
were
showed,
showing, it
Yeah.
was-
it doesn't have that much of a difference in
Right.
elevation between grade and finished floor.
I think that's exactly right in the perspective of the.
Because that window
image.
doesn't look any different to me.
Yeah,
Right.
because I was looking, when you said that, like over the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side of the double stacked of the windows, I couldn't figure out exactly what it was.
Yeah,
In our building prints, our standard design features that, matches that rendering with, as you said, the step or two up, which is included in the brick, and then it goes up to the windowsill height on that.
is your typical, not to step over your comment or your question, is your typical floor plan, I guess the base model, if I'm coming in and I want to buy a house, is the base with a basement, without a basement? Will they be offered with basements?
I think we're looking at possibly offering the options of basements in the community.
The reason I ask that is
Sure.
the basement is gonna drive the house up higher anyways, so that's gonna automatically increase the amount of brick. So any house that's gonna have a basement is gonna have a higher brick.
Right, and
Water
these products with the rear load, there's usually a step up from the garage in the rear of the
Yeah.
home, so the rest of the home is slightly more elevated from grade. So that's why all of these feature that kind of step or two
On the
up,
front.
right, on the front.
Okay.
And then I saw the product, your townhomes off of 96 and Meridian. It's the same townhome product, I think, different colors. That whole line, and it's west of that McDonald's, that whole line does have covered stoops on all of those. Happened to be over there and noticed it. My recommendation will be to follow with staff's recommendation of having those covered stoops on all of those. I think if we're creating a neighborhood feel and there's something a bit more charming, I think, about that. So that would just be part of my recommendation.
I would agree with that as well, as someone that lives in a townhome, and that's a rear-loaded town, or a front-loaded townhome, actually, but has no stoop, that water, snow, all that stuff that comes down the front, it's, it splashes on the front door, and so we've had to replace our front door because it rusts, and so that just provides that extra one. It provides, like you say, that neighborhood feel, and I think it also just provides a long-term longevity to the product that'll make your buyers happier, I think.
Sure, and just to clarify, no real requirements on depth or dimensions of the stoop, keeping, just because, that
I would
front
say
porch-
similar to what the odd numbered units are.
Right.
In depth, and it wouldn't necessarily have to match that shed roof. It could be a gable, it could be a hip, it could be, I think that there's some flexibility there. I think that I don't want to be too crazy with it, but I think that the end one on this side almost looks like it should be a hip anyways because of the hip roof above it. But now you're introducing too many different elements, so I think that would be too complicated to try and do. So I take that back.
Understood.
I don't know anything of what he just said. But no, mine would just be up to working with staff on what that looks
Yes.
best like in terms of scale.
Agree.
Yeah, and I've raised this once we got the staff recommendation, I took it to our design team, and so we're starting to explore the options. I would assume that they will be similar in style to match the odd numbered
Yeah.
units, and we'll match that style. In this rendering and in this community, we're going with kind of that black, that kind of more modern urban type of feel with those articulations as well as the windows.
Yeah, I noticed that on the windows.
And the
That's
windows will also be black on the single-family homes as well to match the townhomes. So it'll really be an upscale feel and architectural style throughout the community.
Nothing else for me?
Thanks for your comments. Any additional?
None for me.
I had, I guess, comment from the comment that we got sent over today, public comment, if you had any addressing of any of those comments, if those have been shared with the petitioner.
So I believe that was for Plan Commission.
Okay,
They were shared with the petitioner,
Okay,
and we can address those at Plan Commission.
Okay. I guess, yeah, from a architect perspective, most of them I would address would be addressed through TAC and through all of that. I guess from my perspective from a design standpoint, from an opinion standpoint, the ones along that front the existing homes, I think if there was a way to reduce the density of those, to act a little bit more from lot size, to make those lots a little bit larger, to provide a little bit more of a transition from the existing larger ranch residents across the street to the ones across the street that are new, I think that would help in easing a little bit of that density concern that the comment was. But again, that's not something for us to review or comment on, so that's just my opinion.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Any additional comments? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve
With the conditions.
with all the conditions that have been set forth herein.
I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Kay, roll call, please.
Ms. Bob Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes,
Mr. Bender,
Yes.
and Mr. Stevenson.
Yes, the motion does carry. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Next, any River Place PUD committee staff communications? No staff communications?
No, sir.
Well, we are considered adjourned. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.